Hello, Carlos. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Yeah. Hello, Georgi. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too. I was telling you that I contacted you like a few months ago. I remember. We still have to manage to find if you were actually broadcasting on Design Boom or not. People can go and research that and let us know. But I somehow found you on Instagram and I texted you a few months ago and then I didn't get any response. And then I try, I try to approach my guests a little bit like that nice girl that doesn't respond from the first time. So you like wait a little bit and try again. And and then I tried again with you and then you answered. I was like, see, it works.
It worked after, well, I don't know how many times, but to be honest, from my point of view, it was just only one message. So it was one of those message from Instagram, totally hide. So I couldn't see it until a month. I think it was almost around a month when finally I just answer you. Also, answer every single person is sometimes quite tedious and time consuming.
No, I get that. I get that. That's why I sometimes have to be pushy with a lot of people because maybe they don't even see my message. But in your case, it worked, and I'm really happy. And apparently, we figured out I have finally the first Spanish guest on the podcast. I was quite frustrated with Spanish people because a lot of them they told me I don't speak well enough English to be on your podcast, and I was like, God damn it, these Spanish guys know Spanish and they don't learn it. They don't learn anything else.
Well, to be honest, I'm gonna try my best for English. It's been 4 years in UK. I'm gonna try my best. I know my pronunciation is pretty weird and my big accent, but I try my best. But it's true, Spanish guys, we are a little bit lazy in terms of languages.
Too many
I give you
people,
that.
too many people speak Spanish, and that's why I know that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so for the people who don't know you, you can introduce a little bit briefly yourself, who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Carlos Pecino AKA Colorsponge. I'm a CGI artist focusing in automotive. I'm from Spain. I'm based in London right now. It's been 4 years now, and I'm a freelance working in all over the place. I would say I'm more like focusing in lighting, look dev, or generalist CGI artist. That's how I would define myself. But I'm still, jumping around in different jobs depending on the challenge. I don't have really anything specific in my career. Although it's true, all my portfolio basically is cars. That's true. That's the reality.
Yes, I this is how I found you because I like cars, not as much as you do probably, but when I saw the images that you do of this different type of cars, I was like, God damn it, this is so good. I have to talk to this guy to understand how he does it, what he does, where he's from, and then finally we have the occasion to do that. But I always try to start, to discover the person behind the artwork and not only the artwork, because I think it's interesting to understand where each creative comes from. So I'm curious, what is your story when in your life you thought, okay, I want to be a professional computer graphic designer, or this, I want to have to do something with creativity. Some people have, I don't know, family background, or I don't know, just some people don't even know that they wanted to do that. What is your case when in your life you thought, okay, maybe this is my thing and I should try to become a professional in this field?
You know what? I knew you would ask something like this, and I've been thinking for a while what is going to be my answer, because actually I don't have the answer for that. I don't have any specific moment like, all right, now I'm going to do this. I know what is going to be my future. I I never I never saw myself doing a specific job, doing this and that and that. I used to like really early when I was I don't know if I remember well, when I was 8 years old, I was already picking up the pencil and drawing some random stuff. My mom told me like I was drawing bikes and cars. That's my first memory, just drawing cars for no reason. I don't know, just came to my brain, or maybe some movies, or the toys I have around, play with, and then I think basically all my childhood I've been around with movies, with cartoons, and piece of paper and pencil. Maybe the best way to describe my work is because my background in terms of who I am, the way I behave. And I was as a child, I was really shy, introvert. So I somehow I built my own bubble myself, doing my own world, my own thing, my own imagination basically take over me. And so from there, meanwhile, I've been growing up, I think when I start to pick it out right, I think I spend too much time to drawing because maybe that means something. Should I study something like graphic design or art? And that was it. That's where my career started to going towards to art. When I study high school, I was called in Spanish, but yeah, it's art school. So I start to develop my skills in terms of how to draw, how composition work, how lightings work, how translate your ideas to paper, how to draw stuff, and obviously taking all those knowledge when it was my spare time at home. I was drawing cars all the time, and it was one moment for sure. My question was, all right, maybe I can be a car designer. If you want, I can explain to you what happened there, why I'm not a car designer, I'm CGI artist. But definitely was one moment in my life where it was like, all right, that means something. When my teacher, he told me, he grabbed me in the room and say, Carlos, you know what? That's great. You are drawing really well. You're doing amazing stuff. But you have to be aware. It's not for everybody doing designing cars. It's really tough and really difficult and require a lot of talent. I'm not saying you're not talented enough. It's just saying like I have to be realistic. You are living here in Spain, in Malaga, so it's not really much platform to develop these kind of skills. So he recommended me like, Carlos, you know what? As soon as you finish in your high school, you can do whatever your father is doing, carpenter. You should do that. You have to help your father to. So and then I thought, all right, this guy means something. He's my teacher. He's a guy who has the knowledge, the word to say what should I do with my life. I'm talking about when I was 16. So that moment, as I thought, right, uh, that could be a dream job, but it's not going to happen. It's fine. I can take it, but I never take myself seriously to go towards that. I mean, at least I have my family, of course. They support me all the time. I'm super happy and super glad. I have my fathers and brothers and mom. All of them, they were always support from my skills and drawings and all stuff. So in a way, I remember those moments where my father gave me a computer. I'm talking about a Pentium 2 on the 2000. So I discovered Photoshop. So then I was messing around with Photoshop. I discovered like, all right, it could be also a career doing graphic design. So I was towards like, all right, graphic design seems like a little bit easier. Don't get me wrong. I know graphic design, it could be really difficult because it is. But in my 18 years old brain, it was like, all right, car complex, but graphic design, yeah, I can do a living for that. So I've been moving forward to pushing that way for years. And then I took the sort of a master when I was 21. I get a master for 2 years of graphic design. And that period of time, it was the best of my life, on my 20s, learning graphic design with a beautiful and amazing teacher, showing me what it means to be graphic design, also being messing around with photography as well. So it was a kind of also my colleagues there, actually friends. It was a kind of a mix, a cocktail of beautiful things around me to make this kind of a boom of knowledge. And yeah, it was mental in those years. But I always have a kind of a idea behind my head. I love cars. I'm still doing also with Photoshop. I'm doing drawing cars in Photoshop. And I don't know if I'm talking too much about this
No,
background. It's
keep
just
going, keep going, keep going. You
I'm
were
doing
you.
kind of a huge resume of my life. It's really
No,
quickly, but I don't
no,
want to bore you with this.
no.
Or I could.
I was listening really curiously, and you shouldn't have interrupted yourself because I really wanted to. So you went back on designing cars, and that's how it ended up.
Yeah, well, that's my dream job, be a car designer. But I knew in a way like it is not going to happen because I had in my memory that moment where the teacher said, "Carlos, be careful, it's not for everybody." So I believe him in a way,
I
like all
can I
right,
can
maybe
I,
he.
I can say only one thing: your teacher is a real motherfucker, and he doesn't deserve to be a teacher. And that's the worst thing that he could have done to
Yes.
somebody. I don't know if he's just somebody that was really frustrated with his own life. And for example, I think I've had a teacher in my middle school. And in
Mhm.
middle school, I was deciding where to study next, and I was a pretty good student at school. So you get this assessment where in Italy they tell you which is the best fitting high school for you. And in my case, they said whatever you want, you can do it. And I
Exactly.
said, okay, my mom and I, we were talking a little bit what I could do. And she said, you should be, you good at drawing, and you need to do something that's like real and physical, because in Italy, to get a job, you need a lot of connections.
Mm.
And my family is pretty international, and she said, then you should do it something that you can do everywhere. And that's why we came up with architecture. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, that sounds cool. Like I can imagine myself doing that. And one of my teachers, she was teaching us technical drawing at the middle school. And she was like, you'd never be able to become an architect. You are not good enough. Then I went to the art school. Then there was a guy there who was teaching me again something like, and he said again, you're not good at doing models, physical models. You're not going to become a good architect. And now I wasn't the best student at university because university is difficult, but I'm working as an architect, and there are buildings that are already built, and I've designed them. So I think that I started from a family of immigrants from Bulgaria. So for me, like, I mean, what I had to lose, my goal was to jump over the status of my parents, because otherwise I could have done the same jobs. Nothing to say that it's a bad thing to do, but I wanted, for me, it wasn't a problem to try to jump over my chances, because I knew that it's rather harder than possible. But if you stay consistent, and I think that we have had on podcast number 58. If you want, you can go back and listen to it. We have had Cristoforo Di Porto. He's an Italian guy. He comes from a small town in Tuscany, I think, and he wasn't talented so much with drawings, but he kept drawing, and he went to Torino to the design school, and then he did some internship, and then he ended up in Japan designing cars. And now he's
Mm.
in, I think he's in China. He has also a podcast. It's called the CDP, the Car Design Podcast. Um,
Mm.
and when I see his work, it's rather, I wouldn't say it's better than yours. It's rather different, but I think that eventually, I think you could still be a car designer if you want it. I think they don't care so much about degrees. So if you really want to,
Yeah.
you can apply always, and they rather tell you not. Uh, but your teacher is a
Thank
real
you.
ask. It's a real asshole. Your teacher, I really.
Yeah, yeah. And now with the years, I realize how stupid and motherfucker he was. But in
Yeah,
a way, I'm blessed. I'm happy. So it doesn't determine my happiness if I'm doing graphic design or doing CGI or car designer. But it's true in the end. I think
yeah.
the key is about the support of your family and friends. I think that is the key of for me for success. Having the support, that's the more important thing. It doesn't matter what you do. So, in a way, I'm glad. Even though I'm being suffer for all your struggles, but like everyone else, fighting for this to be something with
Yes,
your
but
skills.
if you
So,
if you have some of your old drawings as a child somewhere, what it would be cool, it's to take one of those drawings and then re-CGI it with your skills now. It would be like, I think, a funny thing to do. Um,
True. True.
it's an interesting idea, and also I think that back in the days, as you said, you were coming from Malaga and you were passionate about something so specific that also you didn't have a comparison, to say, okay, am I good, am I bad? You didn't know anyone that's a car designer, so you couldn't ask, is this good, is this bad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. It's really important environment, and I grew up in a city like Malaga. It's not really famous for car designers, so it was nobody around. People like cars in general, but not that specific task of drawing a car from scratch and
Yeah,
really focusing on it. So it was difficult for sure. Also, my family, they were also lost. They couldn't know
of
how
course.
get this guy with this main focus doing cars every single day, what to do with this guy. It just it doesn't stop. Carlos, you can do also something else. No, I want to do graphic design. I have to do car. Yeah, all right. But yeah, in the end, I don't know why I just took it. What my teacher said, and I grabbed it like a something serious, something like a right. It means something for real.
Yeah, but that's why I like to do this podcast and to start with this question, so that the main idea is that if people are listening and they go and see your work and then they want to follow somehow your path, they will know these problems in advance. If somebody that's a young dude that wants to do car design listens to this podcast and have a teacher that's gonna tell him, yeah, you're not good enough, or a she, maybe, they
Yeah.
will know, okay, that's a bad dude. But to go back on the positive line, you said you went for a 2 years master's in graphic design. Where did you do this, and what kind of skills did you learn there?
Well, I mean, for me, it was 2 years really intense in all the aspect, in terms of personal, because I start to notice like I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this world of art. It's more people invest and really curious about what it means to be graphic designer. I'm talking about 2000, so it wasn't really a thing, be a graphic designer. It was the period of time where recently was appeared the computer and Photoshop, CorelDRAW, freehands, all these software, they were kind of brand new thing. So it was like a super exciting time. And in terms of personal as well, as I said, I'm always been quite introvert, but be surrounded with this kind of environment that people become friends, really good friends. I start to, know myself, who I am, what I represent for myself, be a graphic designer. And I learned, I think from my point of view now, what I learned is major, is huge, because I'm learning what colors, compositions, lighting, and that is my fundamental. Like it's a life never ends of learning this topic, colors and composition, lighting. I'm gonna still learning that for in 30 years or until I die. So it's kind of as a revelation on my 20s, like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, all right, this is something huge. I need to get into this really deep because I don't understand anything.
It's so funny how it is a recurring list of things, of ingredients that I hear from the different designers that I have had on the podcast. And it's so funny because now it's over 70 episodes, so there have been quite a few people. And I remember since the earlier podcast I had on the number 14, this designer, she's a CG artist also. She's called Elizabeth, and she has done a lot of creative work for Microsoft, and she has won an Emmy award for like short movie for National Geographic. And she was also saying, like, I don't care like people what designers like software wise can, they should know color and light, and they're good, they will be good with whatever like they can learn. Then the software, it's quite okay to learn.
I
So it's
totally
always
agree with that, for sure,
and
100%.
and where did you do this master, in Malaga, or you moved to another city?
No, it was Malaga. It was Malaga. It was
I'm
a funny period, yeah, because it was my old school for art, and then having the same teacher from art doing graphic design. It was kind of weird. Actually, it was some funny moment where my drawing teacher, he was taking the book, reading CorelDRAW, how to use it. So it was kind of funny where, all right, guys, just let me open the book. I'm gonna read how to use CorelDRAW. So that was one of my first class on CorelDRAW. It was like, now I remember like, oh man, really? This guy with no idea how graphic design world industry work, and just a teacher, really, really old man, 50s, on his 50s, taking a book of reading CorelDRAW. So that was my background, how to learn a software, listening a teacher, reading a book from CorelDRAW. Yeah, such a mess.
And after these 2 years, how did you transition to the professional world? What was your first job as a designer?
Uh, I mean, officially, I had sort of really fail thing, because my first job, it was a CGI artist, because back in the day I was on my summer learning how to use 3D Max. So when I felt ready to jump into a job offer after 1 month of work with the studio, actually it was an architecture studio. I was doing houses and trees visualization. Is that after 1 month of trial, I failed. I get fired because I couldn't manage to do it. So, but it's true that it's something like it's worth to mention as well. Just taking this as this podcast to opportunity to talk about this, because to me it's also a key in my career. They fire me in kind of a weird way, in the bad way. So the boss took me and said, "Hey, Carlos, you know what? Sorry to say, but we have to let you go because we don't have the budget, blah blah blah. But also, I would recommend, you are good or you are good on drawing, so you should do something else, because we believe like a CGI is not for you. It's just as a recommendation." So I mean, for me, it was really down. I mean, that was the really down of my life. Like I was really into it. I love CGI like nothing else. Like I was able to do crazy stuff with my 18. So it was my 18 years old taking my first job. It was too good. Like for a small town like Malaga, having a work behind the computer, sitting down doing CGI was a dream job. Like fuck, I did it with 18. Wow. But then after 1 month, no, you know what? You're not good for CGI, man. You have to do something else. So it was a kind of a weird period of my life where I've been jumping around doing graphic design for my friends and doing some drawing for tattoos for my friends. So also working as a bartender with my mom, all over the place. So anyway, finally, when I get my first job as CGI, it was when I was 23 in Valencia. It's a studio for architecture. So that was the first job, yeah, as an official first job in the industry.
And in Valencia, you said.
Yeah, in Valencia. Do you know Valencia?
Yeah, no, of course, but I mean, you had to move out, and but
Oh yeah.
but in the period you after you got this another hit on your dreams, how did you stay on the ball? How did you stay? Um, like some people can start being like, okay, everybody's saying me I'm not good at this, I'm just gonna stop doing it, and because just it's no need of it, I'm working other things. How did you just kept working for yourself on like the period of time before in your life when you were drawing? Did you kept just doing CG
Yeah.
models?
Yeah, it's true that, I mean, always been drawing, but as soon my friend came to with a CD of 3D Max typing on top, install that program and still messing around and testing what is that? It's the 3D Max, what it means. My friend told me, okay, why? Well, professional are doing really, really good thing with this program. So I was really stubborn, really there, just trying to do something with that program. It was three-dimensional. So it was a kind of a 2 years combining graphic design, tried to get a job as a graphic design, just really nothing really. And also learning 3D Max in my spare time. So and then when I get the big hit, it's true that I've been around 2 years, I guess, something like not really doing something productive for my life, but always with that in my background, in my head, just 3D Max. It was beautiful. Like the first time I feel like I fit in something, I feel authentic. Like I'm part of this. So I never left 3D Max in that moment. So then I saw opportunity. I saw like searching internet for CGI opportunity, and then I just applied for that job in Valencia in architecture, because I thought it could be my second opportunity to show like I'm not useless as a 3D Max. I think I can learn. I'm not that stupid. Sometimes I could be stupid, but not that much. To be fired. and yeah, I think I encouraged myself to send an email to that company and say, you know what, I have 1 month of experience in architecture and been using 3D Max for 2 years now. So, and then they accept me, like, right, yeah, let's have an interview. And I have the interview with them, and it went through really well. They get to know me. And after 1 week waiting, I received the answer by email, like, yeah, Carlos, we can do that. So imagine with 23 years old, going to Valencia, totally independent, no parents, no mom, no father anymore, just me alone in a new city in Valencia. It was super exciting time. Amazing.
Cool. And what did you apply with? What did you have, a portfolio or something of your own works? And what kind of stuff did you model for yourself on 3ds Max?
It's really funny because I applied for a job, which is architecture job, but I never show a building. The only thing I was showing was cars. And so, I mean, they took me like, all right, this guy has to know how to manage lighting. This guy know how to make models. So that could be enough, as a starting point. And yeah, I think it was mainly cars.
And I think modeling cars is way harder than modeling a building, but
well, it was quite challenging, to be honest. Managing the AutoCAD, that's the name. Still using it, right?
AutoCAD,
or you have something else now?
It's not that much of a standard. It's more like I don't know. It's like using, I don't know how to compare it. It's like a program that you need just to check some files, but usually now we have different softwares that contain not only the lines, but they have all the, building information. It's called BIM. So you have actually a 3D model of the building, which is not only the 3D, but it contains also about like information, like, I don't know, if you draw a wall, you just don't draw the 3D wall, but you also draw a set of information that wall is long 5 meters, is thick 20 centimeters, it's high 3 meters. And so the software knows that for this wall, you need so and so much cubic centimeter of concrete. So
it's making the calculation of the physics as well.
Could do it,
no?
But it makes calculation of quantities, so that, for example, when the construction company needs to order the concrete, they know how many cubic meters we'll need or something. It's like it's way more powerful, and the process of building now architectural building, it's way faster than it was ever before. I think like just a handful team can handle like huge building.
All right. I mean, I'm totally out of architecture right now. I've just been almost 15 years.
Yeah.
So because before it was AutoCAD, like the thing to start to model it. You had all the lines, and then you start to build polygon in 3D Max using AutoCAD. But now you're using different software where it's already in 3D, so it's not necessary model anything.
Yes, some people still use AutoCAD, but if you go on the bigger office, they don't do. They go.
Okay, I feel like a dinosaur right now talking.
No. I mean, you did something completely different, and I think that no, it's like a lot of people have our AutoCAD, but they use it for different things than drawing today. They just check some. It's easy to check some DVG files or stuff like that, and to make small correction. But it's not an industry. Like the same company did another software is called Revit. So Autodesk did Revit, and that's kind of now more the thing. But how long did you stay at this architectural company, and how was it there?
For almost 5 years there. I think to me that's the pinnacle of my career. Like I learned the almost everything as a professional, what it means to be professional in the industry. It was amazing. It was really super challenging, but I'm so lucky. I was working with the perfect people. The boss, he was amazing. I took it as a father. He's amazing, this guy. And then my colleagues and partners, they were like a friends. So it was beautiful, to be honest. 5 years there working. It's something like I'm not really excited, working for me, from my point of view, it wasn't really excited working in architecture, but I was super happy working there every single day, just hanging with them, working with project, lighting, texture, learning a lot. Crazy.
And did you work on cool buildings from international companies, can you say how the company was called? Because maybe I know the company, I don't know. And a lot of Spanish companies are really good at computer and graphic and architecture.
Well, I know we were working with some international jobs, but mainly just local jobs, really tiny, really humble. We were a team of 5 people, so it wasn't really huge. The company called Ciberinsa, that's how it literally sounds in Spain. Ciberinsa. I think they're still working on. I visited them 3 years ago. They're doing great. So yeah.
And another question I would be curious is like, how did you you moved to Valencia from your city? And I come from Italy, where people tend to, I'm gonna say, like underpay you when you're not so experienced. And I know that Spanish culture, Italian culture is not so distant from each other. So how was the paycheck in the beginning? Did you need to go in a share flat? How did you manage to move to Valencia? What was this process like?
Man, yeah, as I said, I was so lucky, so lucky. I found this company. They took me as like a kid, like a son from them. So the paycheck was really solid. I think I started doing full-time job, and I think the price, it was around 600 euros per month, which is a child with 23 was huge. It was, wow, all right, that's a lot of money for me, because the rent, it was already half. It was 300 of euros. So it was the other half just for me. Just, all right, I'm king of the world. I can do whatever. No parents, just be in my flat with my friends. Like, yeah, all right. To me, it was like, all right, this is success for me. In my career, in my life, how I understand in that moment the life, what it means, have a job working with computers. That's already was huge for me. Like, yeah, I mean, wow.
I remember the first day I started working as an architectural intern, and they also gave me like a plan that I needed to edit in Photoshop to make it look nice, And I was doing this job, and they gave me like, I don't know, 2-3 days to make it really nice. And I was thinking, damn, like I'm doing this, it's just so much fun, and they even paying me. I shouldn't tell them that I would do it for free. Yeah. So
actually, we had a joke in the office. Like my boss, he was really, really nice, super nice guy. He came always come to us. Hey, Carlos, how's it going? I was laughing and talking with him, and he said in one moment, super serious, like, "All right, Carlos, but you are having fun now, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just laughing." And he was, "You shouldn't have fun. This is work. If you're having fun, you have to pay me because you're having fun. So that something's wrong here." So we were always laughing. Like we have a super nice relation. Like every single time we are laughing, like, wait, hold on, we shouldn't laugh. This is work. This is work. We should be crying and shouting and be mad. But we were super happy there.
And you said you stayed there 5 years, right? And what made you leave the office? Like, how come you left?
Yeah. uh, uh, I think it's a combination of different stuff. Always, even though I have such a nice life there, with super young, 23 years old, having my own job, living alone. Always I've been curious about CGI to keep improving my skills because I'm still doing cars, obviously, on my weekends, spending just my spare time, keep improving skills. We have finally internet, we have YouTube, we have a huge community of information just throwing your monitor. So it was like I couldn't stop, just still learning and practicing my skills in CGI, also motion graphic as well, messing around with Photoshop, mixing with After Effects, mixing with 3D Max. Boom! It's a crazy tools all together. I couldn't manage to put all these ideas together. It was amazing. So meanwhile, I've been working in this company in architecture. I've been throwing some personal job in the internet. And then one day, one guy called me, "Hey, Carlos, I love your portfolio. It's great. It's amazing. I'm calling because I'm managing a company working in advertising. I wonder if you are willing to work with us doing advertising work for Telefonica or Nike or Mercedes and all that stuff, like a shiny thing, like all right, wow, you are offering me a job as a freelance working in advertising. Sounds great. So I don't know. Let me think about it. And that's it. That was the call where it was everything just turned around 180 degrees. Like, right, I'm going crazy. What should I do? I'm having already a good life working in architecture with a long-term contract, good pay rate. So, or what should I do? It's just, moving forward my career, doing more CGI. I'm still growing as an artist. So I decided, yeah, I think it's time to move on. I move on as a freelance. And then I started to work as a freelance in Spain, in Valencia, taking jobs in advertising, working with big brand in Spain. That was the next move for my career, yeah.
And what kind of things you were doing for these advertisements?
To be honest, a bunch of normal job as advertising, just print, basically, doing like how's it called? This brand, it's a drink brand. I don't know the Fraisenet. That's one of the name. Fraisenet is a French champagne.
Champagne, okay.
Yeah. Well, just a bunch of, actually, I even don't remember,
But
the bunch of
still,
work I did.
but still CGI or some graphic design,
Yeah,
or so you
it
were.
was all over, just mixing everything. Whatever they need. They need a video, I can do video with After Effects and motion grapher. They need a print, I can do a print. So I was literally a nerd of pixels,
So
solving
you,
problems of.
but it sounds like you had a knowledge of things that you didn't really need for architecture, right? Like, did you need After Effects in this architectural studio, or you were still like after works playing around with this stuff and experimenting and doing shit?
I think, yeah, I literally spend all my weekends just learning new tools. I mean, in my company, they didn't need me as a After Effects guy, so graphic design guy. They don't. But I was always super curious about to improve my skills and learning new tools. Yeah,
And how
yeah.
much time did you spend on it? Did you really spend like your whole weekends, your whole day there, or you were doing like a couple of hours and then doing something else? Because I can imagine that
Oh,
Valencia, it's a nice Spanish southern city where you have a nice weather. You can have nice, I don't know, tapas and wine and go on the beach. And, like this is always what I say here in Germany to the people. Like, you guys have the right weather to work. In Italy, they don't have the right weather to work because it's too nice. You don't want to be in the office.
yeah, man. I totally agree. That's why I'm here in London because the weather is so shitty. It just forced myself to be at home and working. So I don't feel bad. It's just, yeah, I'm working. That's the only thing I had to do. Just, but it's true that in Valencia, obviously, I have a period of my life with 23. I just moved to Valencia, totally crazy with a job, with money, or I went crazy, obviously. But then for a while, after 1 year, I was like, all right, what is next? So I was spending all weekends, all my spare time, just be on my computer and experimenting with tools. I had lucky because in that time I moved with my friends. We were sharing in the same flat. We were five of us in the same flat. So it was really easy for me just stay at home because I had a human contact with friends living in the same place. So I didn't need to go outside to meet people. Already had my friends at home, so I don't need to go outside. So everything it was in one place, computer and friends. That's it. That's my life. So it was 5 years really intense learning for myself.
And what did you do with these learning projects? Did you still kept doing cars or just some experimenting, some tutorials and check what it's gonna come out?
Yeah, I think I'm a mix, depending on how I feel. Uh, always I've been obviously always with the cars in my head, doing cars, but also doing collaboration with my friends. Also, my friends they were also curious about films and music, and we were a bunch of artistic guys doing photography and mixing everything together, doing experiment video. It was really rich, really nice period of time. We grew up huge in Valencia as a team. My friend was a photographer, the other was a musician, the other was a filmmaker, the other was a graphic design, the other was a motionographer. So I was CGI guy. So yeah, I mean, huge potential there. So we were sharing a lot of stuff, living together in the same house. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, sounds like great. And then you started this freelancing job, and I'm curious, like, did you realize you were supposed to ask for more than 600 euro a month, or did your did your life at least improve further on by doing freelance work?
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. After 3 months of in the architecture company, they raised me. They pay me a rise, so it was a decent, more than decent. I mean, it was 1,500 euros for a teenager like me. So it was huge. It was a lot of money in Spain with that. Yeah, I mean, imagine you pay for that rent for that massive house, 600 euros. I was earning almost more than double of that. So it was a lot of money for me. But it's true that a different story where you jump into freelance, that's whole new story. That it was all over the place. I've been in too many different stages of my career doing freelance. Like right now, I'm still remember those days where I was really struggle with money. Don't pay the rent, selling all my stuff because I couldn't afford pay the rent, and eating crap, eating all day long just rice and potatoes. So yeah, I know really well. And the other hand, I had a bunch of money. I didn't even have a look at the bank account to see how much money I have because I didn't care. Just I know I have enough. I just going through whatever, buying bunch of stuff. Just yeah. So yeah, be freelance is tricky one.
Yeah, yeah, and well, but what were there some other skills that were um beside CGI and design itself that you needed to learn? Because as One thing that it's probably very different is that when you go for a job, like you were on this job with architecture, um, you have this structure, like you go there, they give you an assignment, you work on it, and you finish. And once you move to be a freelancer, did you need to learn how to structure yourself, or it wasn't that hard for you?
It wasn't that hard already. It wasn't really. I even don't remember any struggle in that part. How to manage myself in terms of workflow, or how to manage to be always active in tools and knowledge. It was quite easy. I mean, I'm already kind of organized. At least I know ways everything how the pipeline works, so it wasn't that difficult. I think for me, I'm still figuring it out is in terms of business. What is the business? How works? How money goes? And what is going to be the investment? What is going to be my future with this kind of income? What is going to be? I don't know. That is something like I'm still learning in a way. But as when I was teenager, freelance for me was like I do a job, I finish, they're happy, they pay me. That's it.
Yes. And what kind of like business things you need to learn, like tax return or stuff like that? Or
Yeah, this kind of I would say like a black magic thing, like a black hole as an artist. Like I had to dive in and study really well. I'm still something like I need to figure out what is going to be the best approach to first of all build a business, for example.
I see. And so for how long did you do this freelance stuff?
It was quite a long period. I think around 6 years, sort of, with 6 years of as a roller coaster, up and down, crazy, and a bunch of stuff happening in my life. I've been in Valencia. I've been sorry, I've been in Copenhagen as well. So kind of a jumping here and there, but after that, it was the key point of my life was all right. I'm struggle with freelance. I'm not getting jobs as a CGI artist. I'm sick of working more towards to print and graphic designer. I'm not taking real serious job of CGI. Nothing challenging. In Spain, I I'm not happy to say this, but I feel like they don't appreciate the value of art in Spain, or at least not as serious as in the rest of the world. I don't know why what happened there in Spain. Maybe we have this mentality of oh, you know what? I know a friend who's doing Photoshop too. I know a friend who's doing After Effects. Well, if you measure the job based on tools, you're doing something wrong. So that's how it was, at least from my experience. Like I went really bad because I couldn't afford anything. So I was kind of sick of struggling that way. So it was a point of my career. I was like, all right, what happened? What I have to do? So I thought, right, let's do something. Like I need to learn English. Let's go to UK and learn English. Then the plan was, all right, let's go to UK and then I can get a new client. They can pay me well and I can do a living doing CGI. And that was the plan. And it happened. Yeah, it happened.
But how did you end up in Copenhagen in between?
That is a long story, but I'm gonna make a resume because it was kind of a tiny thing in my career. I tried to build a company with a friend. He was already there in Copenhagen. I was freelance, so we thought it could be a good idea to make it real, make a company there. Two of us moving in Copenhagen. So I had the opportunity to. He gave me the opportunity to be in his house, build from scratch a company. He's an art director. I was CGI. It was the best combination together, working in advertising. But it, we ended up really bad because it's almost like a marriage. We were living together, working together, 24 hours together. So it was complicated. After 6 months, we were all right. Let's finish this. This is not working. So I moved again to Spain.
And but how about when you left the architecture company? How did you, like, when you left, were they really disappointed, or did they tell you, well, Carlos, good luck with your
Mm.
with your freelance work, and we love working with you. You're welcome anytime to come back, or they were like, fuck you, we made you what you are, and you're now leaving us. So what was their reaction when you told them I'm leaving?
Uh, yeah, it was something. As I said, I'm so lucky. I'm being in such a beautiful company with them. They knew something's going on. They knew like my skill. I was always in every single project pushing so hard for the project, try to raise the bar so high. Like Carlos, we don't need to spend 2 hours on your lighting and shader. Just leave as it is. They are not paying that much quality. But in a way, I always felt like I need to do something cool in these images. I want to do the lighting here, make a story like a Carlos, no, stop it. So they knew in a way my skill they were towards to advertising and image maker. So they were super nice with me. They knew like Carlos, yeah, we are happy you are moving on because I think we feel like you should do something else for sure. There is no place. I mean, you could just stay with us if you want, but you you don't belong here. Just do something else
At
in a
that
good
point,
way.
of your life, if I were you, I would have sent some of my images to the architect that fired you and tell you, motherfucker, you motherfucker.
No, I never did that. I
Yeah, I
never did that.
know.
I
You seem too much of a nice guy, you know, like
I
that's
received the
why.
email from him, but I never sent back. I never brought back.
And
That's it.
so how long time ago did you move to London, to the UK?
It's been 4 years now. I think it'll be 5 years now shortly. And
And
yeah,
as
it's a huge experience.
as a Spanish guy, you learned English just the last few months. No.
I'm still struggling, you know. I've been having
Uh,
some conversation like I have no idea what's going on. I just saying yes.
but did you move just for the, like, just to move, or I don't know, where also, I don't know, for some personal reason, I don't know, a girlfriend or something, or you said I'm gonna move to London because I had enough of this shit in Spain, or what was
Yeah,
the.
mainly I was really struggled with money in Spain. So as a freelance, so that was the moment where I was all right. I have to do something. I can explain to you a story how I moved to UK because it's funny though. So I won a contest in CGI. It calls Hamster 3D, and I won the contest of the automotive for in 2015. So in that time, I was like I blew away like a shit. All right, I won a contest as a CGI. That's huge. So it gave me the courage to send my CV and my portfolio to one of the for me one of the best company in UK is Real Time UK. So I send the email to them. Hey guys, I'm willing to work with you. I love you what you do. I would love to be part of your automotive team, learn from you. It took me a week to write a letter, to write that email, because in that time it was just Google and me trying to find the best way to express myself, to send a CV and portfolio. So they wrote back and said, yeah, let's have a call. All right, cool, amazing. Let's do it next week. Yeah, let's do it. And then as soon as I received the email, I was like, fuck, all right, oh man, how am I gonna do this? I mean, I'm gonna have a call with them. I don't know English. So imagine situation. It was me, three guys in the other side in UK with a huge, strong accent from Manchester.
Oh, that's
So
impossible to understand. That's not even English. They didn't speak English either.
so imagine for me, at that the moment where I knew, all right, I fucked it up, Carlos. I fucked it up. It was we finished the call. They were totally confused. I was totally confused. We couldn't manage to talk anything at all. And and in that moment to hang out. and start to think, all right, I start to cry actually, like, oh, fuck me, man. I fucked it up. The opportunity to work in UK, one of the best company I know in automotive, it's not going to happen. So, right, I have to study English now. And then 1 week later, I received a call. It was someone talking English, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yes, yes, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. I couldn't understand anything. I was just saying yes, yes, yes. And this guy calls Peter, um, Peter Leonard, and he said, Carlos, I'm going to say this super slow. Carlos, welcome to Real Time UK. You're hired. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, all right. So cool, amazing. All right. Or if he say, all right, Carlos, I'm gonna send you an email with all the information, and we can talk through this for email. It's fine. So congratulations. All right, keep talking. So that was my conversation with Peter Leonard that time working in Real Time UK, and that's how I moved to UK. Basically, with this opportunity, work with them, and yeah, it's a huge experience working in real time. It became my first time with no English at all, working a new company, new colleagues. It's just, yeah, such a mess.
But when you were using all these softwares that you used, did you use them in English or in Spanish?
Oh yeah, always I've been working in English, software in English, Photoshop,
Uh,
After Effects, Freelance in English.
well,
Yeah.
so you didn't need to talk that much. I mean, like you knew how to use the software. But anyways,
Well,
when you got the job, was it way different, the workflow and everything that you started doing at this company, Real Time UK? Or yeah, my question here is like, were you rather like, did you went on a completely new level, or you were like, okay, I kind of was like a little bit lower than this level, but nothing impressive. Like, how was the learning process and the learning curve by going at that company?
no, I think in that time I was really aware of my knowledge in 3D Max, and also my render engine is a V-Ray. So I knew they use the same tool. So I was kind of at least secure, like I can fit in that team. I know quite a lot about cars. I know 3D Max, V-Ray. So it was a matter of time, just get used to the language, to get involved on meetings, and just catch up with them in terms of communication. I think that was the main key for me the first 2 months, because I was working there double of hours, because I didn't know what to do. They gave me a brief. I was doing double job because I was insecure. What is gonna be? What do you need? I don't know. I'm gonna do different option just in case one of them it works. So that was my first 2 months, just working double, but knowing like I'm doing right, I'm doing correct. Just it's basically the language barrier.
And were you studying English on the side, or just like, and actually, where did you move to? Like, where did you move to? Like, did you move to London or to Manchester, or where did you move?
Uh, yeah, that's the thing. I moved to Blackpool. Blackpool is a really small town, really close to Preston. Preston is close to Manchester. So it was a really small village in Preston.
I guess you still didn't have chance to hear people talking English there. I mean, like
Really, trust me.
I can tell you one fun story I have about Manchester. So when I came here, there were some Erasmus students from Manchester, and we were once riding on a bus together with them and some American guys. And this guy from Manchester tell me something, and my English is not wasn't bad, so I could understand. But like, and he tells me this thing, and I was like, "What? I don't understand. Can you repeat, please?" And I'm sitting next to an American guy, and he repeated, and I was like, "What are you saying? I don't know what you're talking about." And he repeated it 2 3 times, and then I turned back to this American friend of mine and say, "Nick, come on, dude, tell me what he's saying." And he turns to me and is like, "I have no idea." So he was a native like American English speaker, and he couldn't even understand So this guy from Manchester just said whatever, like doesn't matter. But I'm like not saying it out of a bad feeling, just it's really hard like to understand
Yeah,
the accent.
it is
um
something. It is something. But I don't blame him because I don't blame them because I'm from South Spain, so
yeah.
my Spanish is not really good either. So I'm talking really shit Spanish. So I got it. I know why they have this accent. It's cool actually. I love it actually. I love it.
And what was the process at this new company? Did you kept using 3D Studio Max, or do you need to learn new softwares, or yeah, what was?
It's true. The key point it was because I was working in the configurator in the last part of the pipeline. It was lighting, so I was developing the look for in that time it was Volkswagen cars. So I was doing the lighting studio for Volkswagen in the configurator. So I was basically learning how to translate the renders to Nuke. That was the the key or challenging from my side. I knew 3 Max and V-Ray is fine, but then I had to learn Nuke. It was a new software for me in that really particular way. It's not like a classic compare for VFX. It's totally different. They have a special tool to manage all them bunch of renders and making configurator through Nuke. Yeah, it was quite challenging in the beginning, but they were super nice with me. They teach me really well how to use Nuke and how the way they work and the workflow how it works. So it was great. To me, it was only 1 year of experience, but one of the best I had here in UK working with that amazing team.
And sorry. And how did you end up leaving that other company again, like a freelance opportunity, or what was it? Or you wanted to see the big city, London, instead of Blackpool?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Blackpool is beautiful in their own way. Is great city. Also, the people there is such a great people. He's amazing, super humble and super nice. And even though they were a little bit in shock, a Spanish guy with tattoos, bald there in a small village, immediately stand out like, oh, what is that? Just plenty of old people living in houses and me and my dog there with no idea about English. So it was something. But about why to move to London because I had the opportunity. It was in that time Christian Tanner. He's a head of CGI on Recon Farmhouse. Do you know Recon Farmhouse?
No.
It's a German company. They have a base also in London here. To me, one of the best advertising company for automotive. They have, from my point of view, one of the best CGI artists and retoucher artists in the world, and they are working there. Christian Tanner reached me out. Hey, Carlos, I need a senior CGI artist. Are you willing to work with us? I was like, what? No, no way. It can be. No, it's not possible. So yeah, I literally after 3 4 months of back and forth, I don't know, because I was really insecure. Recom is like one of the top company in the world, so I was like really afraid to factor up. I didn't feel like I'm ready to jump into such a company.
I think
And
I think that chat you had with your teacher back in the days have signed like marked your life somehow, because dude, like I don't know how much you have improved since then, but when I see your work now, it's like insane. It's like, I mean, I'm gonna be the first guy in your life that's gonna tell you you are like insane. Like if somebody now better than that guys comes to you and tells you, do you want to work with us? You should question if they're good enough for you next time. Because
thank you, man. Thank you. I don't know what to do about this, but yeah, thank you. But it's true. I mean, it's true. My experience in my life is making a mark, huge mark in my who I am, how I behave. Doesn't help. I'm introvert, so it's kind of a mix of everything. Also insecure of my job. Yes, I don't know. It's pretty weird the way I can describe myself. But yeah, always super competitive. I was always willing to improve. but at the same time, I don't want to show my job because I'm insecure. So yeah, I'm all over the place, man.
No, but really, like, I mean, what for you seems so obvious. Like, also when we did, like, when we were talking before the podcast, you were saying, yeah, like nowadays it's not so hard to do a good render, and like, it's like so your pictures goes beyond, I think, what you like. You really don't know if it's a it looks like a picture. It's like it's insane. It's like if you want to compare yourself to something in the architectural world, if you want to go back, I don't know if you know the studio in London, in Norway. It's called Mir. They do
Of
this.
course, I know them.
They do this architectural image which look like pictures. Well, like you're not nothing less than their picture just of cars, and it's crazy. And also it's crazy how you uh, think about cars, because you sometimes use this contrast where you build up like a Lamborghini, like a NASCAR, or like some sort of yeah, I would say like if you for sure you know the movie Death Race,
Of
for
course.
with yeah, some this kind of style of things you do, and it's crazy. So stop doubting
Thank you,
yourself,
man.
because it's like I love cars, and when I saw these images, I was like, God damn it, this is insane. Um, and
Thank you, man. I mean, I appreciate you comparing my skills with Mir. I mean, I know them. They are top.
yeah,
That's one of
there.
my. I remember even 10 years. How long has been working? It's crazy. It's been 15 years working the Mir,
I
something like
don't
that.
know. I don't know.
It's
I
been
pro.
forever. They are the best.
I'm quite I'm I don't know. The first time I saw their images was in the first or second year of university, and I was like, this is insane. And they have this and I think that your images are even like, architecture, you can create like sort of a scene of some daily life, like you can use no matter what, you create some daily life scene, and then you think it creates a story, and your images are very minimalistic. Let's say they are like just a car on a natural background, or in some very foggy background and nothing else, but it's still like you can, I don't know, it's like alive. Even if it's just a car, you can imagine the sound of the car, you can imagine the smell of the tires, you can imagine the car turning on. It's like creating a story by this still image you do. It's
I mean, I'm laughing because it's something particular in my workflow where me and my friend, I used to say this and we laugh each other because come on, Carla, you cannot be like that. It's just literally what I do when I'm creating something on my screen. And then I have this behavior as a child where I just turning my head and I leaning back, trying to imagine this image with motion. And if it's good, I can also listen in the engine of the car. I can listen the squeezing of the tire, the rubber on the ground. If it's good, if I hear this, if I listen in this, all right, I'm doing correct. If I don't feel that on my image, all right, let's move on something else because it's not working. I need to feel that. So I'm glad you mentioned like right, it has something. I would say like I like to think like they have soul, or at least that's what I want to transmit and translate.
and I can consider myself like the sommelier of CGI, because I cannot do it, but I can like evaluate it, and I can experience it, and it's really like yeah, I'm not yeah, I'm not saying that just because you're on my podcast or something. It's just because it's really what I feel when I see the images. Like it's um yeah,
Thank you, man.
you can squeeze out also some extra character of some of the cars, and I guess some of the cars is something that you have taken from a car that exists and reimagine it a little bit in your fantasy, and it's the way the materials look like. You can feel the coldness of the metal or something like that. It's
Yeah.
it's I said it's for me it's really difficult to make an image where it's basically nothing else but a car, and then squeeze out these feelings, like
Yeah. That's great, man. You mentioned this because it's true. I really appreciate you say this because it's not that easy. People say good thing about your work in a really meaning way. I know you mean it because you were there. You know the tools. You know how difficult it is to pull out these kind of images and render. On the other hand, you have, for example, family. I used to say this because it's funny because I told to my mom, "Hey, mom, I'm doing this." My mom is like, "Oh, that's beautiful." So they don't know really how much difficult it could be something like this. I'm trying to explain her like I'm doing the lighting here, I put in the material here, and I have a render. Sometimes it's tricky, blah blah blah. And she's like, "All right, cool, that's amazing, but you're doing the material." I was like, "Well, yes, but you're doing the actual lighting." No, the lighting is already there. It's a tool, but you mold the car. It's just not all the car. It's just part of the. And she's ended up having. So what do you do then? So it's nothing. It's just putting something that is happening for you. The tool is doing everything for you. I was like, oh, yeah, mom. It's the tool, it's not me.
So I can suggest you, because you do this as a passion projects too, so especially the one that you post on Instagram. um, you have a lot of sports cars, and some cars are off-road, but just a few images, like not so
Yeah.
many. So I can, if you really would like to, like if you do it anyways and you would like to have fun to do something like that, I can suggest you to do some images with rather a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, or some American truck, like I don't know, maybe also a Toyota, what is called Toyota Sequoia, I think it's called, or some of those big American Ram trucks, which are these things lately have been my favorite kind of automotive. And you can do it with the colors of TCI, like some paint of TCI. So, and maybe some, like, I don't know, TCI logo on the top, and like something really. I'm just giving an input, and if you like, and if you would have fun to do something like that,
All
you
right, right. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm gonna consider that for
you
sure.
you can do that if you want to experiment with something, because a lot of the cars are black or gray, and our colors are, I was telling you that I on purpose I picked some colors that are not black and gray to distance myself from all the gray architects.
Mm.
So yeah. But are you still working in this office in London that when they hired you, or you also?
No, no. I just moved. I moved to another company called Ink Ink Studio here in London as well. So I have another year working with them. Similar jobs, advertising and photographic, working with cars and all this stuff. And after a beautiful time there as well. Oh, I think I would say I've been super lucky being in the right moment, in the right team with the right people. Everyone treat me really well. I've been learning huge amount of knowledge from people. It's crazy. I would say like this the best way to learn is always being surrounded with best artists than you. That for sure.
But if I'm not wrong, I've noticed that you have switched to Cinema 4D, right?
Yes. 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 Because I've been talking with Ashthorpe, and Ashthorpe is working with Cinema 4D. So in order to have a collaboration, I thought, right, Ash, what about if I learn Cinema 4D? We can do collaboration together. We can start to build a world together. So that's how we start, and that's how I start learning Cinema 4D because he was really helpful and really super nice with me, teaching me how to use Cinema 4D, give me some tutorials, and yeah, that's mainly the main reason I'm learning Cinema 4D. Otherwise, not really. I'm not really big fan of learning tools because I want to learn and that's it. Because that's, to me, no makes sense. Have to be a purpose. I've been learning Houdini because of job. I've been learning Maya because of job. Learning Cinema 4D because making collaboration with Ash. So I don't know what's going to be the next tool, but it's not something like I'm willing to learn because the fun of it.
And how do you manage to learn it? Do you have the opportunity to learn these new tools at work, or do you still have to be like after work, go back home, turn on the computer, and start playing around with the new software?
Yeah, I think as I said, I'm being lucky because in every single job I go, I'm not really knowledgeable of the tools, so they give me always room and opportunity to learn. No, so it was every single job. It was easy in a way to integrate in the workflow because they give me the time 1 month to just a period to get used to the tool, and they can teach me and basically that. But it's true that because my willing of improve quickly and be fast and productive is not enough. I used to spend even more time when I get home learning from, for example, when I was working in Recon, it was really tough for me switching between 3D Max to Maya. And in Maya, I was in Naima, totally different software. Even though people say it's quite similar, I would say no, it's nothing in common with 3D Max. And they give me almost 1 month. All right, Carlos, give you space, give you time. You have 1 month, just learn as much as you can. And yeah.
And for your personal projects that you put online, I'm curious, what kind, if you can sum up, what is the process you do? If you model the cars yourself, if you take ready models, and how do you think about the few images that you're gonna produce, how it's gonna look like how do you plan the imagery, so to say? Then how do you execute it? What are your tools you use to make it happen from the idea to what we see as an end product? And I always like to ask what I asked them. I have other computer graphic designers in the architectural world, and what I always like to ask is how much it takes to make an image like that, because we live in this world where you swipe up in your Instagram and you click like on these images and everything look instantaneous. And it sometimes can be also kind of frustrating because if somebody's just starting with CGI, most probably they're gonna suck, and they're gonna see your images and they're gonna be like, fuck this shit. So yeah, so I want to know this behind the scenes of the process.
Yeah, it's a good topic. It's a good time to talk about this because, as you said, like on Instagram right now, everything looks instantaneous and quick and fast. How you have to feed the machine to people craving for more images. We want more, and now tomorrow more. So it's true. Now I'm jumping to freelance. Like how I'm gonna keep it up with this rhythm, which is insane. As you know, it's not the same taking a picture. It's already there. You can post it. CGI is way longer. So what I'm saying is like right now I found a way to feed this machine in Instagram because with Asthop it was great working with him because we somehow we develop a system is working for us. So what we can do quick, fast, and good to have the best scenario ever. You have the free time, you have all the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the willing to do it, you have the inspiration. So we got everything. All we can deliver every single day or every single week, something like that. We can just feed the machine because it's important for our job. I know. So that's one thing like I'm doing now. Like I could be a solution for artists. Like make a plan what you can do in the best and the most profitable way possible. Like something quick but is unique and fast. It's not that easy because you have to enjoy it, mainly because you have to enjoy it. So I found with us like we love cars. let's do something about it. Let's do a mix of resources, mix of texture, HRI, and 3D models. We can have idea what we can do with this car. We can do this and this and this. How we can do the lighting. So we cannot spend 1 month developing a lighting for every single car. We have to do sort of a platform where the car in every single angle looks good. And doesn't matter what kind of car it's going to be, a bike or a sport car. Both they're going to fit really well in this environment. So that's why we came up with this solution of a white background, a beautiful car, and that's it. That we have as a solution with just fitting the machine quickly and fast and good. I'm having some inspiration because it's super fun. It's just so nice to have we used to talk a lot about cars, and we are super nerd about, I'm using this car, I'm using this video, you look at this car, and look at this movie, look at that car, and then we can, what about if we can mix this Baja 4x4 with at least this old track together? Oh, let me think about it. Give me do some tires. I can do. So it is super nice working with him in that way. We found a solution. And I would say, for example, I could spend maybe 3 days to have complete full model ready, 1 day for shading, and maybe another 1 day for lighting, and that's it. So in 1 week of work, mainly, you have a
full
1 month
days,
of content.
full days,
4 days, yeah,
and
4 days, 5 days in total, and you have 1 month of content of renders.
So you model the car yourself, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix. Sometimes I used to use a 3D stock model, and then he just adapting or modify some stuff, or sometimes just building from scratch because I have to. My idea is totally crazy.
Where do you get your stock 3D from? Where you have a library now?
I have a library. It's been collecting for years, but it's true that I used to buy on Square.com. That they are really good, and then mainly on TurboSquid.
Yes,
a little bit pricey because they are taking from other artists, so a little bit 20% more, but it's good. Or you have the main resource where who artist doing what, and then jump into that website, buying directly on them.
And you said then you model it, you then do all the textures, the materials, things like that, set up the scene, and then you said you spend a couple of days on shading. How do you do shading without lighting?
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, the process is a little bit mixed. It's all together. Shading without lighting is not possible. So we have sort of a default HRI where we have a HRI calibrated, so we know the shader is working. So as soon as you put new lighting, it's working.
And so, what kind of render engine you use?
We are using now Corona. I've been using V-Ray for almost 10 years, but Corona has something like I don't know, something special about it. Just like it, just love it.
And Corona with Cinema or with 3ds Max?
Is both, because I'm modeling in 3D Max mainly because it's the way I work faster. So 3D Max is my main tools, and then I export that model to Cinema 4D, and then is where the magic happens, shaders and lighting. Because as I said, because I'm collaborating with Ash, otherwise it could be just me working with 3D Max and Corona, and that's it.
I see.
But yeah, I mean, coming back to the conversation of a workflow is totally different depending on the project, but mainly full CGI is something like a depending on what kind of project are you doing. If you're doing a garage interior with crazy amount of detail of the concrete on your columns, and the floor is really detailing, it could be mental. I could spend easily 3 weeks doing just the garage. But if you're doing a desert, so where everything is just basically sand and a mountain, could be just only 1 week. So it's tricky one to measure the timing of project.
No, of course. Yeah, it was just to have a general idea. I mean, you have done also some images of Formula One cars. I guess that also takes a while because you have the track and I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
the background there it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, I think what I do first of all in my head, it's just doing some mockup, painting on Photoshop, maybe some keep bashing, what is gonna be the shot, and then I'm developing from there because there's no point building a 360 CGI environment where in the end it's gonna be only one camera where you already develop everything else. It just not make sense. So I just focusing in one image what I want to do, then
If
build from
you
there.
if you ever wanted to share that, because I have done, for example, with other guests, like I had a very talented architect. She's Greek, but she lives in the Netherlands, and she recently won together with some other friends of her a big competition, and they gave me like the she was really kind because they do along the competition a booklet with all the ideas, and it looks like sort of an evolution of the idea. And I reposted that on my Instagram as a as an indication for somebody that wants to do that. So if you have some maybe project that you still have this Photoshop thing and some sketch, like if you have the dirt work and then the final image, and if you want to share that, I can share it on my Instagram too to show people like what are we talking about and how could that look like. Because I mean, I think that of course everyone then in the end finds their own workflow. I'm just, we're just talking about
Sure.
something that um, can be a workflow, but it doesn't have to be a workflow. And I think it's always very helpful for somebody else that might consider going on your path to, have this sort of reference, which maybe for you would have been so helpful back in back in the days, and could save the pain of somebody that's now doing cars.
Yeah,
uh,
man.
and
Definitely. Sure.
and you said you do this also to speed up the process and to have more content to put out on different digital portfolios you have. What is like the do you do is it Instagram also a way for you to eventually get some freelance work too, or is it just some exposure for you, or it's just fun? Because a lot of designers, I have had also a lot of graphic designers that do maybe logo design and something like that. um, I have had guests that explained that Instagram is great because it's made out of content, so it's really visual and it's perfect for designers. You have also Behance and other things that are very ArtStation that are very popular within the industry. Is this a way for you just to put yourself out there, or is it also with a purpose? I don't know, to get maybe eventually some business someday.
Uh, yeah, I think I'm using Instagram as a tool, basically. I'm never a big fan of sharing my life in media. I don't see the point. Maybe because I'm getting older, I don't know. But I never grew up with this idea of what it means media. So I took it Instagram as a Behance or AirStation, like another tool where I can communicate certain stuff. But it's true, the way Instagram works right now is like it seems like the right way to do to communicate certain stuff. It blew me away the amount of work I'm getting from Instagram. It's crazy, way more than my account of Behance or ArtStation. I'm not talking about followers. I'm talking about the way how Instagram works. Seems like a way easier. I get it. I think I got it. I know maybe ArtStation is a little bit more professional in a way, that more like a companies they reach artists through ArtStation because it's made by this kind of a platform industry. But it seems like a Behance is a little bit behind on that. I don't perceive that much message on Behance, but in Instagram it's crazy. It just people is everything in there. Personal, business. Sometimes I get confused, like, oh my God, how I gonna manage this? Sometimes it's just a random guy just asking about what is my texture, and then it's next Next chat is a guy from a company want to do a job. Like, wow, all right. So I have to be really careful in reading really well all the message because it could be super, super important.
Mm, I see. And you have been also, what I noticed is that you have been doing some posters and t-shirts with your artwork on them, and they look really dope. I think they could be very cool decoration. And I have to see if they like home decor, and I have to see if they're. I have to check if I can get them. I hope you're not like UK based, because currently, if you're UK based and I have to buy these things from the UK, they're probably from unpayable price for delivery. But maybe I could get them, and in the future video format of the show, they can be some background for me, or maybe take a T-shirt and wear it. Also would be cool. What is that about? Did you? Because I always like, also I really I'm really happy when designers find a way to make some sort of, let's call it, passive income. I always like to say it's not
Yeah.
passive because you have to work for it, but let's say something that's scalable, so that, for example, you could sell a lot of t-shirts, but the work, it's just for one image or for two images or whatever. And I think it's really smart to do that as a designer, because it's like a sort of a way to get a little bit of back of all the time you spend to learn these softwares and to get so good. So how did you start this project? And yeah, was that the idea behind it? What was it, the idea?
I think I just I had lucky working with Ashlop, where he has already really clear idea what it means be in business and be out there, uh, be profitable. And as I said, I'm still learning about what it means, be in business. Uh, Something like I've been talking a lot with Ash as well. Like he had super clear, and he knows really well how to manage it, all this brand basically, how to expand, how to be a name, how we're going to be a company. And where literally sometimes we laugh each other because he's like, Carlos, just stop be a guy doing cars. It's not about that. It's just, it had to be a name there. You had to put value in your work. You're not just doing, yeah, I'm doing some cars in Instagram. No, no, no. What you're doing is really valuable. You have to make sure you put the right price. You have to make sure you put how say it, like a nice package to drop in your job. It's not just a image where somebody can scroll. It is actually just an image to scroll, but if you just take a time to see what I'm doing, is something else. So that is part of the package. He said, Carlos, we are doing this collaboration. We are doing full CGI mixing with film, put together. This amazing, but we have to extend to making people understand this is something else. It's a universe. We have to sell like a whole package. We have car designed by us, the totally mood, the story. We have a palette of colors. We have the way we work together. So we have to somehow make sure we translate this idea to the public. Maybe sometimes it could be just only one guy just scrolling, I like it, that's it. But maybe not. So we have to try to taking seriously what we're doing. It's something like I'm still learning on my journey, taking seriously what I'm doing, putting in the right way in the right platform. I think it's a good solution actually. These, for example, selling posters, T-shirt. Why not? I mean, as long we can survive in this wild industry in the best way possible and be supported by people, that is where the magic happens, I guess.
Yeah, I I see. And it's also like I see, I like with the cars you have mainly posters. I don't see t-shirts yet, but I hope to see some soon. If I'm not wrong, that I'm not seeing any. But
Yeah.
it's really like yeah, like I'm really loving this idea and this design, and I really support this these kind of things, because I always want to, remind people that in the end of the day, sometimes creatives can be naive because they think, okay, I'm doing something that I love, and I'm having fun, and they don't focus on making also some money. And I'm like always saying on the podcast that it's never. I want to stress this topic and say that people should be having fun what they do, but they should be also getting rewarded, because in the end of the day, when you go in the shop and you want to do your grocery, they say, okay, you do nice images, but we want some cash here. So I think it's
totally.
And I know a lot of, because I studied in artistic school, and then some people end up in the more artistic fields, and they are always like, I don't want to sell my art. And yeah, there is this misconception, but in the end of the day, like there is this book, I don't remember the author, but it's called Real Artists Don't Starve. And he explains also through some historical artists like Michelangelo or Raffaello and so on, that they weren't starving. They were getting huge assignments from the church or from whoever. And the real artists, they need to be profitable for keep doing what they're doing and what they love. So I support
Totally.
I support a lot.
Actually, I had a small story. When I received the call with this advertising guy to offer me a freelance job, we were talking, and I said, you know what, I'm doing my own thing on the weekends, my shitty jobs and my shitty renders and blah blah blah. And he stopped me. I said, Carlos, hold on just a second. What do you say? I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm doing my shitty renders on my weekend. Like he said, like, no, wait a second, man. Just stop right there. Is this gonna be the last time you said I'm doing shitty renders? I mean, you can say whatever. You can say I'm doing renders, I can do my thing, blah blah blah. But you have to understand. You have to start to naming things properly. What you're doing is not shitty renders. Because if you don't respect yourself, you don't respect your job, nobody's gonna do it. You have to put your price, your value, yourself from there, and then we can start to talk. And I think something like I stick in my head, something like I burn, all right, that is a stamp in my brain, as to make sure, all right, this is important.
Yes, and now I'm saying you that you should never doubt about your work anymore, because it's just crazy, man. But one thing that I've been thinking, and that we didn't say before, your workflow. Do you have some crazy monster computer to get this quality of render, or you just have a kind of regular computer that takes a few days to render it?
Well, to be honest, I'm not really a technical. I mean, I'm not really hardware guy. So I'm gonna say what computer I have, and then you tell me how good it is, right?
Okay,
I know it's good. It's a good price. It's a 3-ripper 3960 24 cores with 128 gigabytes of RAM. I know it's powerful. It have a low RAM. But I know nowadays we have way better computers, way expensive.
How much RAM do you have on?
128.
128. Yeah, that's quite good. But can you tell in which range of price can you get something like that?
I spent 2 years ago. I bought this computer by £3,200.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
kind of 2 years ago.
I see.
So it's kind of a good computer, I would say.
Yeah, it's I don't know. For CGI, it's probably good. Compared to a regular computer, it's way better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I know for video you need more GPU power and RAM, not that much of CPU. But I'm working with with 3D Max and Corona, so I need that powerful 3D-ripper. They are killing the market. So yeah, I mean, they told me, Carlos, I think you should go with 3D-ripper. I was like, all right.
But do you have a Intel, or do you have a AMD chip? Or you don't?
AMD.
AMD. Yeah, I've heard that AMD are kind of getting over because they're, yeah, you get more for the same price. So it's
Yeah, I
get
think they came to change the world, so they're doing it.
no, I'm so happy that are allowing with lower price to for more artists to find the right tool. And you never know. Like I always been fascinated by CGI. Maybe I'll be like, okay, fuck this architecture thing. I'm gonna start doing CGI and switch switch over. I don't know. It's
But you ever try doing some visualization of your project?
Yes, I have been. Of course, every architect has gone through this dilemma if they should go with the more dynamic career in computer graphics, where they do a lot of projects from other architects, or they should go with the less less dynamic but satisfying industry of buildings, where you're. It's a very weird thing when you go on the construction place and you
Hmm.
see in a physical form what you have been drawing on your computer for months or years
Hmm.
sometimes. It's a really weird, um it's a lot of sin. Like when you go on there, you kind of, you move yourself into this screen for months or days and weeks, and when you go and you see the real scale of the building, you're like,
Hmm.
this is so weird. It's so much bigger, and it's so weird that I've been into this space on my plans, but now I'm into this space with my whole body. And
Yeah.
and then
I bet it's special. I mean, that's something really special. I mean, as you said, like you were developing and drawing, think about your project for months, and then it's there, it's real.
yeah, and then it's really weird because you can have fun of developing one really small stupid details that like can be very something very obvious or even invisible for the people. But some and it's so weird because you design things that's gonna be used. So when the user use maybe a window or a door, this door has been placed there or designed in a specific way so that they can use it in a specific way without even knowing, and it will be maybe easier for them or better for them or better for their room. And yeah, this is the most satisfying part of architecture when you work in the side where they build the things. But of course, it's a lot of site meetings, paperwork, talk to this guy, talk to that guy, coordinate stuff, and then the construction
What
placing.
it,
Yeah.
so what is the best part of your job in terms of architecture? Is where you really started with a brainstorming ideas and putting on paper, or maybe just the way you build it, putting in real format in digital? Or what is
Every
the best part?
everybody can say a different thing. Every architect can say different. For me, it's really nice when you start from the initial phase of a project. Like usually, in depends on how the office is organized. Usually, you have a competition team or acquisition team that they do sort of the really rudimental concept, and then eventually the client will be like, okay, I want to build this actually, and they turn it to a team. And this team starts from this really rudimental idea to define it more and more and more. Then the client approves things, and then at some point it's approved so much that you can hand the project to the authorities so that authorize the project. And when you get the
Hmm.
authorization, and then you start the working on the executive projects, which will be the plans for the construction place. And the construction site starts. I mean, for me, the not every single phase until the the handing the documents to the authorities is funnier because it's more dynamic. But
Yeah.
I think the second part is harder, but it's really nice when you finish, when you started the building from the beginning and you have finished it, which sometimes, I mean, most of the time lasts 2 years or something.
Yeah.
But like and it's special, it's really special if you have managed to be working on the building with the same people from the beginning to the end. I mean, people
Yeah.
switch, but you have this sense of camaraderie together because you have gone through so many storms together, and you have
Yeah.
had these long days in the office where there was the deadline and you managed together. And usually sometimes I like when there are these moments because I don't know, you stay longer, you get dinner together in the office, and
Yeah.
beside the work you maybe share some personal things. And this is like I don't know, I can compare it to the military, like you've gone through something together, and once you've done it,
Yeah, man.
you like,
Trust me, I know exactly what you mean.
yes. So it is, and it's the same at university. Sometimes when you work with your friends, when you study, that you have this. Sometimes I think my record was like 4 nights without sleeping in a row, and
No way.
yeah, yeah,
4 nights.
yeah,
Damn, man.
and I remember.
That's mental.
Yeah, no, you are under adrenaline because you have this fear of not managing to hand it. And I was like also very obsessed. I wanted to do my best project, my best design. And then I think it was very bad for me to have reference online because I would check as a reference some top
Yeah.
company, but I didn't know that behind those projects there was a team of 5 people. So I was trying to
Of course.
achieve the same results as a, and of course now, I mean, some of my projects that I did for my university works I still really love, but I don't know, just thinking about going through that again, it's, and now I have a different lifestyle. I
Of
work,
course.
have a girlfriend. I want to spend some times
You have a
also.
life for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know, I think, I mean, already doing a podcast like this one takes a lot of time because um it's very funny also to do the podcast because
Yeah.
you get to know so many different people, and they're all creative, and they all give you some piece of some point of view that you maybe haven't seen. And um and you get to know so many people, and it's
So
so.
we met each other now, but I feel like you are more like a guy to be around with people. You like to be involved in a team and work together, right? That's the way I see you. At least
Yeah,
how
yeah,
you.
I think it's
That's
really
mean you
important.
idea.
I think it's really important to have a good team. Like I've been on a jobs that I had not a good team, like not in a sense good, like expertise wide, but not good environment. Like, and for me, it's really important that the team has good relationship. Like I think
Yeah.
in every job that I have been, where like things worked, like where I was happy to be at that job and people were happy to get to have me there. They always told to me like, oh, you do also like you bring a good spirit in the team. Like
Yeah.
I always like, I like to talk to people about not only about work,
Yeah.
like, and I can understand. I think I'm good at understanding people, like on their personal level, because I'm not gonna be the same with you, and I'm not gonna be like, I mean, in my core self it's always the same, but like I, depending who I have in front of me, I can, because I work with people that are still students, and I work with people that are maybe in their
Hmm.
40s and have a couple of kids, so I cannot be exactly the same with with everybody, but I think I can understand everybody's difficulties. And I,
Yeah. I guess your feel of empathy is big, to be around with people and adapt in a way.
yeah, yeah, like to make them feel like that I understand them, and that it's like, for example, I never liked, there are some people that go at work and they're very, counting who does what, who stays how long, who like. And I'm like, okay, like if there is this, I don't know, this colleague of mine, she has a, I don't know, an exam at the university, and she's gonna be away for 2 days, it's fine. And if I have another colleague that his son is it's at home with fever and he has to stay home. Like, yeah, I don't count this
Yeah.
stuff. Like tomorrow I'll be like,
Yeah.
so yeah. And I know
Yeah.
what people like, so I like to be interested in what they do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's key. I understand as well team as the same point of view as human, because I think it's huge. When you have a good team, even though it could be whatever challenge you have on front, but if you have the willing to work and help each other, that is a huge thing to. I mean, I've been liking also in my career working with an amazing team, and that is the base. That is the where we can work together, doing amazing stuff together because we have a good relation. The communication flows. Even though also in my beginning of my career in UK, talking just no, I wouldn't understand anything. But I think also the way to manage ego, I think also is important
Yes,
because
yes.
it's not that easy to find. I guess the good mix or what kind of people working together sometimes is like it doesn't fit. I've been in some situation really rough where few colleagues of mine they were totally uncomfortable, that they were impossible to work together. It was hard, really hard. But yeah, this things happen.
I think that nowadays also a lot of companies sometimes don't care about this other aspect that you don't have only to have like a member of a team that's very good at their job. Like, I don't know, let's say it's CGI and you have some guy that's super good at modeling, at shading, or lighting, at Photoshop, at After Effects, and then he's an asshole. And then you put this guy that's an asshole into this team, and he ruins everything else because
Yeah.
now all the other members will be like, okay, this jerk, I hate him. I'm not gonna be collaborating with him. I'm not gonna be putting my best work. And some companies, I don't know, in my industry at least, at some companies they think, okay, you're a number and you can be taken off, replace it with another one. And not only in companies that I've been, I've heard of also other companies, and it's not all in other industries too. Um,
Yeah,
so
it's true. I mean, I think it's more noticeable in small team. If you have some toxic relation in a small team, it's really dangerous. But if you have
yeah,
a massive company like you are almost a number of the chain, so it's
but
not
no,
really matter.
no matter in my industry, I don't know, but no matter how big is the company, you end up always in a small team because, like, if it's a
Mm,
big company, it's gonna be just a company that does a lot of projects. So
mm,
you have always your own project, your own team made of these 5 6 7
true.
people. The maximum it gets, it's, I don't know, 10. And yeah, you have to, but like, in my, I think I'm what I I think because also I do the podcast, so it's a kind of a proof that I can deal with people because I managed to get 70 up people to talk to me that I
Yeah, I
didn't
think
know.
so.
I didn't know at all. Also, when I work with people that external collaborators in my process, because you have also a lot of engineers of different kind and things like that, and I've never had any issue like with any one of them that like I know when to you you know when to push people and when to be like, okay, whatever, like, because if you always push it with someone, they will be like, okay, this is so annoying. But you have to know where to prioritize and see, like, okay, guys, I understand you're under stress, everybody under stress, but this is really crucial. And I wouldn't be and if you say something like this to these external people, they won't be so, they will be like, yeah, you're right. And sometimes you have
Mm,
external people that are jerks, and then you have to be a little bit jerk too, because otherwise they will take over
yeah.
on top of your head. So it's I think it's very important in design process to have a good communication and to balance. And yeah, I've done a podcast about this. I have read this book. It's called Leadership Strategy and Tactics from Jocko Willing.
Interesting.
He is a former American Navy SEAL, and
Mhm.
he has been a commander in Iraq in the war. And he explains some.
He also is doing sort of a TED. TED.
He did a TED talk, and he also have
Yeah.
a podcast. It's called the Joko Podcast.
I think
And
maybe I've seen something from him for sure.
yeah, and he writes books about leadership, and he has a company that does, consultation for businesses, which explain exactly how to work together with a team. And I sometimes when I think it's important to talk about certain topics, I get a book that I liked and I do a podcast about this book, what I have learned from this book and what can be applicable for design. And I like him because he explains all these things that are from the military, but they're applicable in everything, in your family even.
For sure. For sure.
So it's really interesting.
All right. And what is the name of the book? Because I'm gonna check it out. For sure.
What it's called, strategies and leadership strategy and tactics field manual. But if you want to get a little bit of a preview, you can check one of our recent podcasts. I think was the 60 something, I think maybe 69, and I do some podcasts with my girlfriend where we discussed the 69. We did a little bit of a break through this book, so that it's going to be like sort of a sum up of the most important parts.
That's great, because I'm really interested right now, because in the last couple of years I'm being more involved in be a lead or senior artist in a team. So it's something like I'm also really empathic and really emotional guy. So I like to be involved with team and be the guy who communicate and translate ideas and be part of, be just the top and taking the responsibility. And it's something I'm still learning how to manage all this. It's really important. So I think I'm really curious about.
And it's something that if I were a boss of some team, I would say to every member of the team to read it, because it's not only about leaders, it's about also people that are in the following position. It's just really about a way of I think this book, it's really good. Like it's also very much practical, because it's called Field Manual. And it's really, really good. And also this guy has a podcast, and there are some podcasts where they break down some situations of work situations, and it's really good. Like I cannot recommend it enough.
Cool. I'll check it out for sure. Definitely.
But well, man, we're like 2 hours in the conversation.
Wow. So
I think we have covered most of the topic. I always say to the guests that this is the first time they're guests on the show, but doesn't mean it have to be the last time. So everybody are welcome back anytime they want to share something new or just to come back and have a chat. This is sort of a first episode to get to know each other and to get to know you, to the audience of the podcast. And I really hope that at some point I will see a off-road truck with the TCI colors of your page. I think it would be cool, man. Like imagine a big truck with a violet color. It's awesome.
All right. Yeah, I mean, for sure. If I do it, I'm gonna give you a hit for sure. I'll let you know.
And last but not least, where can people find out about you online?
Where
can people find you online, if you can share?
I think Instagram could be the best way. If they want to make some question directly, they can send a message, or using ArtStation, Behance. I think this platform should be fine.
I will put a link in the description of the podcast so that they just can click and go check it. And awesome. Yeah, thank you very much for being my guest.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. It was amazing to meet you. And yeah, for sure, we can do this another time.
Yeah, cool. Then have a good evening.
You too, man.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.